Okay, Carrie, can you get back on?
I'm on.
Okay, I see you. Okay, who has the first question or a good story to tell us?
I do if no one else does.
Okay, go ahead.
I filed the petition. This is Lance from Minnesota.
Okay, before you go, here's what you said. I filed the motion. You have to file a motion in every court there is. So why don't you let us know what it is so people can kind of follow? I know because you and I talk, but if you don't mind, tell them what court.
I filed a motion in the U.S. Tax Court. They requested let me get the wordage right here. They requested that if I had an objection to state it. And so I objected. I objected to part of it, and I agreed with part of I guess it would be the IRS's conclusion, or, man, it ain't their conclusion. I'm kind of confused now. But on the objection part that I objected to, I sent it certified mail to the U.S. Tax Court. I haven't heard anything from them. I'm just kind of wondering, is there a way to verify they received it other than the certified mail?
Do you know how to look at it on their website?
Yeah, I check it daily. I look at the docket. It hasn't changed.
That's how you. Okay, then it hasn't changed. It'll change there first.
Okay, so you kind of just got to take it by faith that they're going to be good guys and open the letter up and read it right.
I'll tell you right now, they're not good guys and they won't read it right. But at least you'll know it in advance so we can make the correction if need be.
Okay. So just wait for the time to lapse.
That's all you can do, yes.
Okay.
See, you're dealing with the Antichrist.
It seems that way.
No, it is that way.
Seems like it's quick to poke you and takes a long time to get remedy.
Right. And that's how they set this up. What we're doing now, though, with the tax court is really speeding time up for us.
Well, I think you got them on a roll because it seems like things happen. That was my question. I thank you for your answer.
No, thank you for calling, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Next question.
Can you hear me?
Come on.
I can, yes.
Okay. Carrie, I'm calling in behalf of others that have contacted me asking for some guidance and help. It seems that the banks are in cahoots with the IRS in getting their treasury checks refunded from their bank accounts. And I've been telling them to go ahead and sue the IRS commissioner to get a letter of, lack of jurisdiction, but I'm unclear how to guide them as to what to do next. Meaning, these. Do you understand my question, Carrie?
I do. I've talked to several people this week.
Okay.
Now, let's just be outside the box so far they won't see it coming. Some of the people that got checks that I've seen, they're pretty large.
Correct.
Try to go to a check cashing place. Pay the difference. If you have to, take the tax. If you got your tax court order, take that to the bank. And let's start over. First thing that I do is I ask the bank why they have a lien or a levy, or why can't I get my check cashed, or whatever it is that you can't get done. You just ask them, and you ask them like you're an idiot. And the reason for it is, if you say, you SOBs, you have to do this, they're not going to do it. So I always ask them as if I'm the dumbest guy in the room. So they'll tell you, well, we have to do what the IRS says. That's the number one answer that I get from the bank, the Social Security, the county, anybody that's got a hook in your money. the number one answer that I get is we have to do what the IRS says. Now, you got to understand, we don't write one letter and it just falls over. It might take a half a dozen letters. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you get, we have to do what the IRS says. Now, do you have a court order?
Do I have a court order? Yes, I have.
Yes. Okay. Who told you that the IRS does not have jurisdiction? Who told you that?
The IRS commissioner.
All right.
For the
judge. Commissioner of the IRS. Yes.
Right.
See, now it's not the tax court didn't tell you that. The commissioner told you that. So then what I do is once I get the letter from whomever it is that says we do what the IRS says, then I share my letter with them, my order. Call the court and get a certified copy. Then what you do is you write a letter to them saying, okay, here's what you said. See, your letter dated, whatever the date is, highlighted and inserted for your convenience. Highlight the part that says they have to do what the IRS says. Then you take your court order, highlight respondent, which says commissioner, highlight where it says they filed because the IRS didn't have jurisdiction, and then you do a cover letter saying, according to your letter dated so-and-so, highlighted and inserted for your convenience, here's what you state. I went to the tax court and I have that fixed. See what you've done? Now the bank is now in contempt of court. So then what you can do is if you have to take the bank to court, you're not taking them there for taxes, money you owe. You're taking them there because they said they have to do what the IRS said, and you agree with it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
See, how do you eat an elephant?
A little bit at a time.
Okay, and see, what we're doing is we're getting a little bit at a time. See, when you go in there and you're chomping that and you got the whole leg of the elephant in your mouth at one time, it's too much. You can't swallow it. They can't get around the blood and all the nasty, see? So you just do it a little at a time. And you ask them. They'll tell you, but you don't tell them anything. You ask them, why are you not, why is it my checks won't go through or whatever it is? See, is it that the check's bad? See, I don't understand. But you ask them why the checks are being returned or whatever or why do you have a lien on me in the county? Why do you have a lien on me? See, you don't tell them it's a notice of lien. You tell them it's a lien. Lien number so-and-so. My name is this. I live at this address. You have a lien filed. See Exhibit A. Highlight the lien. And ask them, why do you have a lien on me? I don't understand. They're going to get back to you and say, well, we have to put the lien on you because of the IRS said. The reason, now you can go in there and say, well, that's funny. It's not a lien. It's a notice of lien. The reason it's a notice of lien because I went to the tax court. The tax courts, the commissioner through the tax court say they didn't have jurisdiction. So now the county is giving a notice of lien, which is a counterfeit security. See, I sidestep everything. Now I'm outside the box. Does that make sense?
Yes. But let me clear the air as far as what's going on with the people that I've spoke to.
Okay.
They have deposited their treasury checks, let's say last year, and let's say they deposited one for $1 million. The IRS wrote a letter. The IRS wrote a letter to the bank, telling them to return that $1 million to them. Do not let the account holder know what's going on, and tell them to contact us. So the bank is closing the accounts and sending the IRS back the $1 million. Then the IRS is sending out a bill for that $1 million plus taxes and interest.
That's not a problem. Download Regulation Z. In Regulation Z, that's the banking laws, and they talk about fiduciary. Now, when you go to the bank and the bank opens you an account, where the problem is the IRS did just what you said. They call them on the phone or they write them a letter. When you go to the tax court, you have a court order. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to work it from the angle we have. See what I'm saying?
Yes. I understand, Kerry.
Okay, now, okay, where the problem is, what's faster, a Ferrari or a Chevy?
I guess it depends who you ask. What's a Chevy?
Sir.
What's a Ferrari?
Okay, what if the Ferrari doesn't have an engine in it, and the Chevy's a cruise? See, you don't know enough information. So what we're doing is we're getting more and more and more information to the bank, so the bank will not do what they're told. They'll do what the law says. So what we're doing is we're running at the bank. We're making the bank responsible. Now, I have a chain. That chain can lift 1 million pounds in a vertical climb. I have one link that I got a 100-pound link in. It's a 100-link chain. 99 links can lift 1 million pounds. One link can only lift 99 pounds. How much weight can that 1 million-pound chain lift?
I don't know, Kerry. I don't even know what a link is.
99. Why?
99?
That's the weak. Right, because that's the weak link.
Right, because you said one.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're sitting back and we're saying, in the condition that you gave me, what's the weakest link in this chain of? Well, the IRS is not the weak link. The bank is. So that's why we attack the bank. Because when you attack the bank's going to write a letter to the IRS, and the IRS is going to stand silent. That's the experience that I have. So the bank is now a third party with hearsay evidence. That's how I would draft my notice. Say, find out who the bank, first of all, don't just go to the bank. What you need to do is find out who the legal department is at the bank. For an example, Chase Bank, their legal department is in Manhattan, New York. So that's who I would deal with. Wells Fargo, I'm not sure where it is because I don't have a bank account there. But what you do is you have an independent bank. It's a local bank. Find out who there's a law firm somewhere that does all their legal work. That's the weak link. Now, does that make sense?
Yes. Cut them off at the knees.
See, there you go. Instead of going up there beating your chest and saying, by God, you can't do this, tell me I can't do it and I'll do it. See, you ask them, can you do this? Yes. Well, how can you do it? They'll tell you. They're building you one bite at a time. And I promise you, if you sue the bank and the bank shows up in the court, it's going to be you and the bank, the IRS or the bank's attorney. But the IRS will not show up. See the problem they have?
Yes.
And that's how we're building the argument. Social Security, Social Security will start taking someone's check. We write the letter to them. I'm confused. I'm supposed to get $1,800 and I'm only getting $1,000. There's $800 missing. Where is it at? I don't understand. And you know exactly why they're doing it. The IRS told them. So then they'll write you a letter and they'll say, well, we're doing what we're told. Well, who told you? Well, we just got to follow the law. I believe you. Who told you and what law are you following? They will eventually say, we have to do what the IRS says. Now I got them. I'm going to use that letter. I'm going to write a letter saying, okay, here's what you said. On March the 2nd, 2020, you said you have to do what the IRS says. I went to the tax court. The tax court commissioner, parentheses, the boss, said they didn't have jurisdiction. Therefore, here's what the IRS is saying. Now they got a problem because they gave me the controversy. Then when I sue them, I've got a controversy that they gave me. Then when I go to the courthouse, guess what? I'm not arguing that my socks are short, my pants are long, my hair is too short, my hair is too long. I'm going there on the grounds. They said. So I went to the tax court and had it fixed. Now I want my money. Now the bank is the fiduciary. Guess who has to replace the money?
The bank.
There you go.
So they'll be screwed to go to court.
Well, of course they will.
and they should know that ahead of time.
That's why I let them know. Here's what I'm doing. Here's why I'm doing it. See, you're my fiduciary. You said you're doing what the IRS said. I went to the court, the tax court, parentheses, the IRS court. I talked to the IRS, parentheses, the boss of the IRS. See what I'm doing? I'm using what they said, and I'm making my argument even bigger. Now, we have a case that the IRS is trying to foreclose on a guy's house. So when we met with them, they said that they're coming to take it. And the guy says, well, I'm going to be there to stop you. He says to the guy, do I need to bring a body bag? He said, no, sir. You need to bring two, one for me and one for you. See, now they got a problem. Yep. Because it's no longer what's right and wrong. See?
Yes.
I've got more guns than you. I got a bigger tank. I got a bigger hammer. See, my saw is bigger than your saw. So what we're doing is we're not telling them what they can do. We're asking the weak link why they're doing it. In the county, you'll have a notice of lien filed in the county. See, go down to the county and ask them. Just get it pulled, get it printed where you have it in your hand. Then you can write the county a letter saying, hey, I'm confused. I have a lien listed, or you have a lien filed against me. Lien number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. I'm confused. Why is it there? They're going to tell you, well, we're doing what we're told. We have to follow the law. It might take you 3 or 4 letters to get it squared up. I don't understand. I'm not an attorney. What do you mean? Well, we have to do what the IRS says. Thank you. Then I take my court order. I do the same thing. Here's the lien that you said you had, because they already said they had to. The problem is I notice it's a notice of lien. The reason it's a notice of lien because the IRS didn't have jurisdiction to do a lien. So they did a notice of lien, and you listed it as a lien. You have 2 options. Release the lien or see in court. Then if you see that, because you're not filing a lawsuit against them for filing it, what you're doing is you're suing them for using counterfeit securities, because what they're doing is they're monetizing a notice of lien.
True, correct.
Okay, now we sued the IRS for using counterfeit securities, and we didn't just win. We won gigantic. We crushed them. If you need to know what the name of it is, get a hold of Ed. I'll send it to Ed, and he can send it to you. You can look it up. I'm not going to tell you over the phone. Yes, but I'll show you, and you'll understand what we're doing. See, what we're trying to do here is we're not trying to dance with them, but if we have to dance, we have to dance with the worst dancer. That way we look good.
Correct, yeah. I get that. Thank you, Kerry.
No, my pleasure. Do you have any other questions, anybody? Okay, we have a couple of people that's going to the court, to the tax court, and the tax court's coming back with a favorable ruling, but they're putting a little twist on it because we're crushing the IRS and they're really, really good. We're hurting them this way, and they're having to release stuff they don't want to release. So what they're doing now is they're putting a little twist on it, and they're saying that their case is being dismissed for lack of jurisdiction on the I forget what they call it, on the second motion or something to that effect. And in that second motion, they put some wording in there that's kind of questionable. So what we're doing is we're just answering that motion too. We just answer it, put it back. And the other thing that we're changing one thing on the form too. Instead of saying I never received a notice of deficiency or notice of determination, what we're using, it seems to be working better, is we say we never received a statutory notice of deficiency. I never received a statutory notice of determination or a statutory notice of deficiency. And the reason for it is, by being statutory, they can never, now that they can't meet. And the reason they can't, because it's done very generically and the statute's very clear. So they can't meet all the questions. Is there somebody on here that would look? Yes.
Gary, what they're doing is I think you were talking about my case, but they're putting it as this motion has been
supplemented.
This case is being dismissed for lack of jurisdiction, and then they're putting the words "as supplemented," and the motion and it's granted. If you go back,
and so right. And so what we're doing is we're challenging this as supplemented, because the supplemented, they put a couple of words in there that's kind of questionable. But so what we're doing on Form 2 the first time in, we're saying we never received a statutory notice of deficiency, nor did we ever receive a statutory notice of determination. And the reason for it is, if you will, if there's somebody on there that will look this up, Title 26, 6065. And somebody else, if you would look up Title 26, 7608. And I want to read those two so that you understand where we're coming from. Now, Title 26 is a statute. See, it's a statute. It doesn't have anything to do with the Supreme Court and all that. So we have to be careful not to use that. And if you have a question, I'll show you where it tells you and what they're doing and how they're getting around using the Constitution. And what we're doing is we're going around that by using their own statutes against them. While you're looking that up, I got a letter here maybe a month ago or so, and it told me to quit writing letters to them because I'm harassing them. And they're tired of it. And I got another one about a week later, and it basically said that I needed to stop using Title 26 because it has no legal effect. Well, if it has no legal effect, how do they use it legally? See, that's why we have to stay on point. Has somebody looked up 267608? If you have, hit star 6 and let me know so we can read it real quick.
Did you get your computer fixed, Kerry?
I did, a matter of fact, I did.
We can't have you without a computer.
No, I got it fixed. I took it to the guy and he plugged it in and a wire just came loose and he fixed it and that was it. I don't know that much about it, but I got it fixed today. He didn't even charge me for it. So it didn't take very long to get it fixed. Does anybody have Title 26, Section 7608 on the screen that they could read it for us?
Come on, somebody. Don't make me look it up.
Come on. This is we're supposed to be participating here.
What was it you're looking for? I'll type it in.
Title 26, 7608, Section 7608. And this is what we're faced with. And if you understand this and know this, it'll save you a lot of heartache later on.
Title 26,
yeah,
what?
I have it.
Okay, would you read it?
Thank you.
26 U.S.C. 7608, Authority of Internal Revenue Enforcement Officers.
Stop right there. Hold on. Stop right there. Say that again so we can talk about that part so we understand what's going on. Read that again.
Authority of Internal Revenue Enforcement Officers.
Okay. The enforcement officers are the people that do the enforcement. The CID, Criminal Investigation Division, that's the E-agent. So where does the E-agent, the enforcement agent, get their jurisdiction? Go ahead and read that next little section.
A says enforcement of subtitle E and other laws pertaining to liquor, tobacco, and firearms.
Stop right there. So if they're an E agent and you do not sell alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, see, we have to use that against them. Not that I'm a non-resident alien. You know, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm part of the Republic of Orange Valley or whatever. See, because we got to keep us out of the argument. See? So in order for the E enforcement to enforce E, they have to be alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So in order, and it said right there, statutory. So that makes, see, that's why we're using statutory, the word statutory, because an E agent puts that together, and he only has statutory jurisdiction in alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. The notice of deficiency and the notice of determination is not statutory. Now, would somebody read Title 26, 60, 65, Section 6065? Or not?
Is anybody not jumping in there?
No, you can read it. Okay, now before you go too far, okay, yeah, don't go too fast with it because I'm going to stop you along the way so we can dissect. 6065, Title 26.
Title 26, 60, 65.
Correct.
All right, the U.S. Code, verification of returns.
Okay, now stop right there. This is going to verify a return. Okay, read the next three. Return.
Well, I'm pulling this up from Legal Information Institute. Except as otherwise provided by the Secretary, any return, declaration, statement, or other document required to be
So
made.
hold on. So in other words, if it's a declaration, a statement, a form, or a document. See, notice of deficiency or notice of determination falls within those four. So, in order for it to be statutory, it must contain what? Read that again.
I'm going to read through it from the beginning again. Except as otherwise provided by the Secretary, any return, declaration, statement, or other document required to be made under any provision of the Internal Revenue laws or regulations shall contain or be verified by a written declaration that it is made under the penalties of perjury.
Okay, now there is no such thing as a notice of deficiency or a notice of determination that is signed under penalties of perjury. Therefore, it violates Statute 26, Section 6065. Don't use that. Do not use that, because what they'll say is, well, we don't have to do that. That means you. It doesn't say that. We've beat them with that. What it says is any declaration that the Secretary allows them to do. In other words, they have to have somebody that they're working for. So if the notice of deficiency does not contain under penalties of perjury on it, it is not a statutory notice. I don't care what they say. It's not. So it's better to start. That's how we're doing it now. So when you go back, if they answer you, go back and you have to answer it. You're going to answer it. I never, respondent. Petitioner never received a statutory notice of deficiency. Petitioner never received a statutory notice of determination for the years 2000 to 2019. Sign it and send it back. And what that's going to do is it narrows their argument down. They've got to come back and say, well, yeah, we did. So then we'll ask them to see it. When they show it to you, it's not good. It's going to be by an E agent because they're the only ones that can enforce. So we got them under 7608 and we got them under 6065. But whatever they send you is not a statutory. Therefore, see, that's what they're starting to say. And what we're doing is we're using that to help you get your Social Security back, because the Social Security Department office, whatever they're called, they do not like the argument because, see, they're going to ultimately lose it because they're a third party using third party using what do you call it? Hearsay evidence. So they're a third party using hearsay evidence. And if we set the argument up proper, you'll be surprised how far we're getting with it. We're doing really well with it.
Well, yeah, they're trying to fight back.
They are. We just have to stay focused on them and make sure that our paperwork's correct. And if it is correct, we're allowing it to do. We're allowing it to we're still getting what we want because we're wording it proper, and they can't say it's statutory. And the reason they can't say it's statutory because, as you saw, it's not.
No, it is not.
And so what we're doing is we're trying our best to keep them from doing what they're doing, and we're able to do that by using Title 26 instead of something else. Does anybody have a question?
I have a quick question, Carrie.
Okay, ask it.
I apologize. I got to the meeting late. I don't know, maybe you already discussed this, but with this virus and everything, the U.S. tax court the building's closed. And I see on the docket, I should have had a order, for lack of jurisdiction, but nothing has happened now. It was supposed to go in, and so I was just wondering if you covered that or not.
Not yet, but if they're past the time, go ahead and do a motion to dismiss on the grounds they passed up the time. Let them come back and make the excuse, because then we can take them to the appellate court if we need to.
Okay. Yeah, it said that they were still receiving mail, but the building was closed. So that was what, a motion to dismiss because they passed the time lapsed or whatever.
Yeah, would be a default. They're in default. So you want a motion for a default judgment.
Okay. And then they'll probably come up with the excuse about lack of jurisdiction and get on it, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and if they do, that's good, because if they don't have jurisdiction, see, I use everything they say. If they don't have jurisdiction, how can they say that you lose? See, if they don't have jurisdiction, you have to pay your taxes. Well, if you don't have jurisdiction to ask, then you don't have to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
See?
Yep.
You can't use you can use your neighbor's mower to mow your grass if he gives you permission. You can't go over there, go through his garage, use his mower, and because you don't have jurisdiction to use it. What's even worse, your other neighbor on the other side says, I need to use your mower, and you let him use his mower too. See, we have to understand what we're doing with it. If the court does not have jurisdiction and they tell you that you have to do X, then what we do is, how can they tell you to do X if they don't have jurisdiction?
Right.
Then if they come back and say, well, you can't do it because we have jurisdiction to do that. See, then when you appeal, we're going to appeal on the fact they said they didn't have jurisdiction, and then they ruled a dumb ruling. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to give ourselves as much as we can. Does that make sense?
Yep. Do I state in that default motion to dismiss, do I state that I did not object? Because, you know, it had said that I had until the 17th to object to their motion to dismiss because of lack of jurisdiction. You know, the IRS.
Well, if you go, okay, if they haven't, okay, don't bring yourself into it. Put in the motion that on the 17th, on or about the 17th, they didn't answer the jurisdiction. So you want the case dismissed for lack of jurisdiction on the grounds. You never received a statutory notice of deficiency or statutory notice of determination, and you just send it in. Tell them what you want. Some of the problem we're having is we're not telling them what we want. See, let them come back and say, well, no, we didn't have to answer it because we got an automatic stay because they didn't tell you that. So then when you object it, see, what we're trying to do is set this up so when you have to appeal, the appeal is simple. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
See,
so
if they don't...
Oh, go ahead.
Right. On or about the 17th, they didn't answer, so you want them a summary judgment. I'm sorry, a default judgment on the grounds. The whoever they are, the defendant, the petitioner, the respondent didn't answer as directed. So you want a motion, an order to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction on the grounds, and then tell them what you want and send it in. Don't worry about it. You might not get it. But I'll guarantee you one thing, you will not get it if you don't ask for it.
Sure.
Does that make – okay, if you go to a restaurant and you want French fries and don't ask for them, you probably won't get them.
Right.
See, you might ask for French fries and they bring you a baked potato. That's possible. Not likely, but they could do that. But if you don't ask them for anything, that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get anything. And see, that also makes it difficult on them. I try my best to always make it difficult on them, see?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, thanks, Carrie. I appreciate it.
That's my pleasure. Thank you. Now, does anybody else have a question? All right. After you get your court order from the tax court, do you know what to do with that next? Once the commissioner tells you they don't have jurisdiction on the grounds, do you know what to do with that next?
No. We don't know yet.
Well, that's okay. You have to determine on what you want to do. If you have a lien, then you write at the county. We already went over that. You write a letter to the county asking them why. If they're holding your Social Security, you write a letter to the Social Security asking them why. If the bank has taken some of your money, whether it's because fraud, there's no exploration on fraud. So if they took $100,000 out of your account 10 years ago, you can write them a letter saying, hey, I just realized you took my money. Why? They're going to tell you. Well, we had to do what the IRS says. Now, no, that would be fraudulent. We can build the argument that they committed fraud. That way, they can't say statute of limitations. See, there's a way to try to get everything that they've done cleared up. Now, the problem is they're not going to roll over, and when you walk in there, they pull their arm around you, buy you lunch, and write you a check. That's not going to happen. You have to go in there and take it from them. And if you don't have the stomach for it, it's not a big deal. It's just something you won't get back. But if you want to do the fight is there. We have our remedy as long as we use it. Does that make sense?
It does.
So what we have to understand is I've got some paperwork that I've put together for those of you that have to have a meeting with the IRS Don't be scared. Go to the meeting with a smile on your face. We've had 16 of them this year go to the IRS's office. When we get there, the last one that went, the number 16 that went, he was in Florida. He lived in Florida and went to the IRS office in Miami. He was there the longest. He was there 42 seconds, and they threw him out.
What was said to cause them to throw him out, Kerry?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Are you in front of a computer?
I am not. I'm in front of a phone. I can look things up.
Okay. All right. If somebody's in front of a computer, let me know so I can answer this gentleman's question. Let me know so I can tell you where to go, and I'm going to let you read it I'm going to let you read it, and when you read it, you're going to understand. Now, the guy that just asked that question, have you ever seen a Title 26?
Yes.
Okay, how thick is it?
About 3.5 inches.
No, sir. The one I have is 8 inches. It's over 10,000. It's over 10,000 pages. It's probably 6 inches, but you're right. It is over 3 inches. That it is. Now, would you like to memorize that? I've got a trick. I've got a way you can memorize it over the weekend.
Sure.
Would you like to memorize it? Would you like to memorize it over the weekend?
Memorize what?
Title 26.
Yes.
Okay. If you will, look up 1040 instructions, and I'm going to show you what it says. If somebody could help me with that, would really be nice. Okay. If somebody will help me with it, I'll send it to them.
Okay. I've got 1040 instructions open, Kerry. I'm on my phone.
All right.
I can read from here.
That's okay. Okay. I want you to go to page 100. And when you get to page 100 on the 1040 instructions, let me know you're there, and I'm going to show you what it says. So, anything they ask you, if we stand on this, will tear their head off. Okay. Now, there's 3 columns. Now, at the top of that page, what's it called? I want to make sure I got you on the right page. It depends on what year you've downloaded.
Disclosure.
That's fine. That's perfect. Disclosure. Okay. Right. Don't worry. I know where you're at.
Paperwork.
Okay. Now, on the left-hand column, take your eyes from the top word and come down until you find the number 6001. And I want you to read that sentence to me. That's all you have to know, that sentence. Go ahead and read it. Our legal right to ask for information. Stop right there. Stop right there. It says, wait a second. It says our legal right. Who's our?
No clue.
Really? You don't have a clue? Who wrote that book?
Well, the IRS.
Who? Okay, so wouldn't it be? So
I'm just careful answering questions for you.
That's probably wise. Okay, read it that way. Read it that way for me.
Okay, the IRS's legal right to ask for information.
Stop right there. So hold on. Now, they have a legal right to ask. If they ask you something that's not their legal right, what would it be?
Don't have to answer them.
No, it's illegal.
It's illegal, right?
Okay, so I'm going to let you finish it, though. Cocaine in a courtroom, handing it to a judge, is the same thing as them asking you a question they don't have a legal right to ask. Cocaine is illegal in a courthouse in front of a judge. If the IRS asks you something outside of their legal right, it's the same thing as saying, bring me some cocaine. It's illegal. So now I want you to start over and read, and I won't stop you now. Go ahead.
Sure. It's the IRS's legal right to ask for information in Internal Revenue Code sections 6001, 6011, and 6012A, and the regulations.
Stop right there. Stop right there. So the IRS only has a legal right to ask you anything in those 3 sections and the regulations. Is that a true statement?
what it says. Yes.
Okay, that's 29 pages. If you memorize those 29 pages, and they ask you a question, did you file a 1040 form? Now, I want you to finish this up before we go. Do you file a 1040?
No.
Why?
Because I don't have to.
Okay, now you brought yourself into it. All right, now I'm going to play devil's advocate. Why don't you have to?
Because I file a 1041.
Okay, now let's see what it says. Let's finish it.
Okay. They say that you must file a return or statement with us.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Hold on, you're going too fast.
Okay.
They say, who's they?
The IRS.
No. Section 6001, 6011, 6012A, and the regulation says you must file a return or statement. Why do you file the 1041? It doesn't tell you to. What do you have to file without a doubt? Tell me what you have to file.
A return or statement.
So that means a return or statement, they're equal, right?
Yeah, that's where I take it.
Okay, ask me the same question if I file.
Do you file, Kerry?
Yes. I file a statement every year. No. I file a statement every year.
Do you send it to us?
Doesn't say to. Says file a return or statement.
Yeah, with us.
Okay. I don't know who us is.
The IRS.
See? So, okay, but they didn't. Then they have to tell me that. Then I'll start doing it. Do you know what my statement is? I have a one-page statement. You'll never guess what it is.
I'm scared to say.
Okay, then.
Mickey Mouse holding up his middle finger.
That's right. See? I say on a sheet of paper, eat shit and die. 2000. I copy it and I put 2001. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So, it doesn't say what it has to be. You said, no, I don't follow 1040, I follow 1041. See, you already said too much. Now I can say, why do you follow 1040? Why do you follow 1041?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't remember now.
Okay, see, now you see what you did. You backed yourself into a corner. Now you're fighting this in a negative, or you're fighting it from a defensive position. It says, see, okay, now I'm going to get you for willful failure to file, which is 7203. Did you file a 1040?
No.
Okay. I'm suing you. I'm going to take you in front of the judge. I'm going to put you in prison for willful failure to file.
Who are you?
I'm the IRS. I'm the CID agent, and I'm the DOJ, and I'm the federal judge. Buddy, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I'm so glad I asked you this, because what does this have to do with alcohol, firearms, or tobacco? I'm confused.
Duh. See how simple it is just by knowing that. See, in other words, see, what I've done is I've outlined the 1040. I have it outlined. And I show you all the different things and how it goes. See, that's in that other sheet. But here's my answer to everything they say. Did you do so-and-so? Well, do you have the legal right to ask? Yes. Well, how come it's not in 6001, 6011, 6012A and the regulations? I have that printed out. That's about 19 or 20, whatever it is. I have it memorized. I can tell you who has to file and who doesn't. I can tell you what it says. If you would you put in Title 26, 6011, and read the heading, only the heading, and you'll see where we're going with this. While you're doing that, would somebody have another question?
What is it? Title 26, what section?
6011.
Got it.
Terry,
Yes.
willful failure to file. How does that correspond with that Miranda decision from Arizona that filing a tax return is the same as testifying against yourself?
Ain't that something? See? But that's what they give for. Not only that, 7203 is willful failure to file. Everything above 7,000 is BATF. So you have to file, and they can get you on willful failure to file if you're selling alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So if you read 6001, 6011, 6012, and the regulations, it tells you that in there. The only people that have to file. Okay, did you find, hang on there, Jim, don't go away. Hey, did you find 6011?
I did.
Would you read the heading? Don't read the whole thing, just read the heading.
Yes, sir. General requirement of return statement or list.
Now, see, now, if you will, go to, see, now we're getting down to this. Now, if you would go to 6012 and read the heading on that, thinking about this. See, they're telling you what, there is somebody that's liable. Now, we just need to know who that is. So when you get 266012, read the heading on that one.
Yes, sir.
Now, since you looked this up, do you think that's important to have that? Okay, go ahead and read it.
Persons required to make returns of income.
Now, wouldn't you want to know who that was?
Yes.
Okay, it spells it out in black and white. Wouldn't that be important to know that?
Absolutely.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you, are you required to file a 1040 form, a return of income? Are you required to do that?
No.
How do you know? Then tell me why you're not.
Because I don't buy or sell alcohol, tobacco, or firearms.
But see, that may or may not be there. It's going to tell you in there. So what's going to happen is I'm going to make you defend what you said. See? So here's where the problem is. The reason I don't file, because somebody's got somebody. If you would you hit *6, please? Because you're real noisy in the background. Whoever that is. Okay, under 6012, it tells you who is reliable. It spells it out for you. See, I think that's easier than trying to tell them that I don't sell that. See, that I don't. That's a negative. I don't like to fight in a negative position. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yes.
Okay, since you looked that up, if you want my booklet that I put together, I will send it to you. I'll be glad to get a hold of Ed. And
I will do that.
Okay, and since you read that online, I'm going to give you all of my entire booklet.
Thank you, Kerry.
That I put together. And what that will do is if you have to go in front of the IRS for any kind of a meeting, there's your hammer. They're going to ask you, did you file a 1040? No. Why not? Under 6212, right here, A says right here, and it tells you in black and white who does have to file. There is people that have to file, and it tells you that. Then you go to the regulation, and you read the regulation, and it's even more clear. You know why I don't have to file a 10? Do you know why I don't have to file a 1040 or a income of return? Do you know why I don't have to?
Why?
Because I've got 3 eyes, I got 7 toes, I've got a fat butt, a skinny stomach, and I've got long sideburns. See, that ain't what it says. It tells me right there. When you're going through that, it'll tell you exactly who it is. In verbatim. So what happens is the guy that asked me, how did we get into the IRS building and out in 42 seconds? That's how we did it. I also have a questionnaire. I got a questionnaire for him. I'm going to add that to it. I'm going to let you have that too. When you walk in, you just ask them. You ask them 2 or 3 questions. As soon as they answer it, you lower the boom on them.
Okay.
So
that's
Title 26 is 10,000 pages. You can memorize it in a weekend because the only legal right they have is 6001, 6011, 6012A. Nowhere else do they have a legal right to do it. So if they're telling you have to file a tax return because of 6232, 6213A1B, what are they asking you?
What are they asking me?
Yeah, you have to file a tax return because of 6332J. What are they saying?
Well, they're
nope, it's illegal. Nope, it's illegal. It's not in 6001, 6011, 6012A. That's 62, whatever it is. See, it's illegal. So you get pulled over by a cop, and you have 700 pounds of cocaine in your trunk. What are you going to tell him? Well, I'm bringing this home for my dad. See, it's illegal.
Right.
Okay, so what they're telling you to do is go get that cocaine and send it in. I don't have to do that because it's illegal. If they tell me to do something, if the IRS says to you, take a gun, go down to the bank and rob the bank, can they tell you to do that?
They can tell me, but I'm not going to do it. It's illegal. It's stupid.
See? They can tell me, well, you have to file a 1040. I don't. Why? Because 6001, 6011, 6012A is your legal right to ask. If I don't fall within those three sections, then it's illegal for you to ask me to do that. Do you want to rephrase your sentence? You're free to go. That's all they can say. See? In other words, sir, that help me out. Are you married by any chance?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll play. Yes, I'm married.
Okay. Now that you're married, see, would it be right for you to get caught by your wife with another woman?
No.
Okay, that's what they're telling you to do. Don't worry about that. Go down here and file you a 1040. See, they're telling you to have an affair with another woman. They can't tell you that. Why? It's illegal.
Illegal.
There it is. That's what it says. Their legal right.
That's brilliant, Kerry.
Doesn't that what it says?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay.
Very grateful for that knowledge.
No problem. So what we'll do is you can get a hold of Ed, if you will. Email Ed and remind Ed that I told you I'd send it to you, and I'll send it to you. But I don't want you to give me your email on the phone because you'll end up with getting about you'll get 600 emails wanting the same thing. But since they didn't look it up, I'm going to charge them for it. But does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Total sense. It's kind of funny in a way.
Now, doesn't that give you the confidence? See, there's one place I want to be tomorrow at the IRS office with 6 or 10 or 12 IRS agents. I want to be there. Why? As soon as they open their mouth, I hand them my book and say, do you want to ask it again? He said, you can leave. That's what they always say. The reason for it is I'm not going to argue with them. You have to file. I don't have to file. Why? I'm a non-resident alien. I'm not a federal employee. I put my left shoe on first. I don't wear my shirts. I wear my shirts backwards. See, it's all about you. All they got to do is tell you, how do you know? Well, it says it here. I don't have to tell them that. See, I can't make a legal determination, but I don't have to make one there because they only have a legal right to ask in those three sections. So if you had those three sections and their regulations in a booklet, wouldn't that be simple to learn?
Yes, very much
now
so.
You have now don't be offended by this, but now you got them by the short hairs. And believe me, when you pull in that part of them, they'll follow you around.
I bet.
See?
But that wisdom and knowledge no one can take from you.
No. And when you have it, you can read it. Okay, what I did in my book, I highlighted in yellow everything that talked about me. I highlighted in orange everything that talked about somebody else. How much yellow do I have in my book?
Probably not a lot.
Zero. How much orange do I have? A whole bunch. Because they actually tell you the person that has to file.
Got it. Yeah, it's just a lot of everything that we read is backwards and negative.
Okay, do you know why?
Well, yeah, it's that way on purpose to confuse us so we don't know who we really are.
Correct. But do you want to see the statute that tells you that? Do you mind reading
Sure.
one more statute?
Oh, not at
all. Go to Title 1, Section 1, and we're going to read it. And when you read it, you'll see why it's like that. Now, while he's looking that up, it won't take him very long. Does anybody else have a question that they would like to ask?
Hey, Carrie, can I say something first?
My first name's not Hay, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, I may be too stupid to look up any more information. I know what Title I is, but it's okay. I found it. I read it, or I'll read it.
Okay, I want you to read it out loud. That way, you can see what's happening. Now, you got to understand something. We have 50 titles. All titles are written by Congress. I've heard this all of my life. Here's what they say. Title 26 has not been enacted into positive law. Now, let's read Title 1 and Section 1 and show you why that does not matter. Go ahead and read it.
Words denoting number, gender, and so forth. In determining the meaning of the Act of Congress, unless the context indicates otherwise.
Stop right there. See? Hold on. In other words, if you're going to interpret anything from Congress, Title 26 was written by Congress. It has not been enacted into positive law. That's a fact. But that doesn't say that. Anytime you're reading an act of Congress, if it's not been enacted into positive law, it says any act of Congress unless we tell you otherwise. Now let's read what it says.
Words importing the singular include and apply to several persons, parties, or things. Words importing the plural include the singular. Words importing the masculine gender include the feminine as well. Words used in the present tense include the future as well as present. The words insane and insane person shall include every idiot, insane person, and person non campos mentis. The word person and whoever include corporations, companies, associations, firms, partnerships, societies, and joint stock companies, as well as individuals. Officer includes any person authorized by law to perform the duties of the office. Signature or subscription includes a mark when the person making the same intended it as such. Oath includes affirmation, and sworn includes affirmed. Writing includes printing and typewriting and reproductions of visual symbols of photographing, multigraphing, mimeographing, manifolding, or otherwise.
Hold up there. I think Kerry got knocked off or something. He's not on here.
Yeah, he must have, because he normally cuts you short every paragraph.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have cut you short a long time ago.
That's why I kept pausing. I'm like, okay, but...
Yeah, I know. You could tell you was waiting for him to say something. So...
He's probably still talking. He may not know he's got kicked off yet.
Yeah. Let's hope he could get back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had trouble getting on tonight.
That coronavirus chewing up the phone cables.
Well, there you go. Well, is everybody learning something? I might as well go ahead and announce.
Well, let me ask this. There was a woman on a couple of weeks ago. She talked about sending the court order to, it was something about her pension, and they quit taking money out of her pension. But another person was telling me there's a way to send it to the Social Security office to get a lump sum payment back to when you turned 18. Anybody know anything about that?
Has anybody done that?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's done that. I know a lot of people. A lot of people have tried.
But no one's been successful.
probably our next call. I'm going to try to get this guy come on here and explain a safety trust that all of us have, and they've had all our lives, and there's ways to claim that. And in fact, that's what this fellow's doing right now. And you're talking millions and millions of dollars that's in this trust for every individual in the United States. He was explaining the other night, he happened to be on a call I was on, that there's a way you can even go back and claim your parents' trust.
And, okay, Ed, sorry about that. I was knocked off, Ed. I'm back.
Oh, finally, huh? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that. That guy that was looking it up, do you see why reading Title I, Section 1 says, unless they tell you otherwise?
That guy. Okay. Yes, Carrie.
Okay.
I know why.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say to you is, see, our argument is never, well, Title 26 has not been enacted into positive law. It doesn't say it has to be. And see, then when you look at their legal right, see, everything is done obscure. Instead of going in there saying that I'm a non-resident alien, we go in there and say, you're a. See, does that make sense for you? Okay.
Yes, yeah. You basically turning the tables on them.
Well, what we're doing is they're saying that I have to file a tax return. I have to. But see, it doesn't say that. I can file a statement. That's what it says. So then the guy says, well, no, you have to file a 1040. So then I take out that 6012A, and it tells me who is liable to file a return of income. Then you read it, and if you get the what is it? The it says there
regulation.
Regulation. I'm sorry. The regulation actually spells it out to you. It spells it out to you. And if you go online and do it, it has a number. It'll say, according to whatever, if you click it, it's a link. That link will take you to a definition, and they'll define what it is. Person liable, 5364, definition of person. You click it, and it opens up another one and defines what a person is or whatever it's talking about. So it doesn't just give you your way out. It gives you the reason you got your way out.
Right.
Now, do you file the 1040?
No.
Why?
Because I don't have to.
See what you just did? Okay.
Yeah,
why don't you have? Why? That's right. Now that you said that, now you're in front of a judge. You're in front of the IRS. You're in front of the DOJ. He's going to say, okay, why don't you have to? Now, while you think about that, here's what they'll say to you. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Now that you said it, tell me why you don't have to. And listen to what you're saying. Go ahead, tell me.
Because I don't know who you is.
Okay? You, when you shave in the morning, that's you. Go ahead. See, you keep backing yourself into the corner.
Do you have jurisdiction that says you have the authority to answer that question?
Absolutely, we do. We're the IRS.
Prove it.
See,
prove it.
We don't have to. The judge says, okay, if you ask that again, we'll put you in jail for 120 days to prove we have it. Now, ask me the same question. See, I'm going to help you out on this one. You're backing yourself into the corner. Ask me the same question.
Did you file a 1040?
No.
Why not?
Well, because according to the 1040 booklet right here, 6001, 6011, and 6012A and their regulation here, and then I go to that page. It says right here, I don't have to. You say I don't have to.
Got it.
See,
Smart. It's
not about me. It's about what they said. And let me tell you, when you get this book that I put together and I send it to you, 6012, when you read that, you're not going to sleep for a week because it is so profound. It is so profound. You want to say, what the heck? How did they pull this over on me? Because it's been in that book. When I wrote my book in 1991. I started it. I used that argument in my book. And when I got indicted, I used that argument in front of the judge. And that argument's been in there, I know, since 1989 because I saw it in my hand. That same exact statement. It varies from page to page, so it depends on the year you get. It'll be 1 or 2 pages off. But that exact quote is there.
Wow.
So when someone tells me, when somebody says to me, I got to go see the IRS, man, that excites me so much. I send them the package that I put together, and I put a few questions in it. I'm going to give you that, too. You're going to be able to read the questions that's asked. And with the first question you ask them, in almost every case, they'll ask you why. So now they're defending from a negative position, see?
Right. Now, something else, Kerry, Ed was bringing up something that I have a lot of knowledge about, and this can be an off-topic at another time, but there's some of us that like to file tax returns. We like to get our refunds.
Absolutely.
So there's the issue comes in, which I know we discussed earlier, and thank God I've not had the issue, is when the banks steal your funds back because the IRS says so. That's going to be the big thing, because teaching Ed and others how to do certain things and how to operate in commerce is simple, but it's always been the enforcement part, learning how to go against these people.
Right. The enforcement part said in 7608 of Title 26 is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's what their paperwork says. Okay?
Right.
Okay, so the first question out of my mouth when I'm with the IRS is I ask them, can I see your pocket commission? The pocket commission it's their name, where they work, who they work for, and whether they're an A or an E. Tells you right on their pocket commission. So far, I've been doing this since 1988. I've never seen an A ever enforce anything. It's always E. So 7608 tells me. Then if he says that's not what it says, see, now I'm going to appeal. See, I'm going to appeal to somebody that knows what they're talking about. So that when I appeal, I'm going to appeal on the grounds. I only have one argument. He said he's not an E, but yet his pocket commission said he is. So if the pocket commission says he's an E, how does he not be an E?
How does he not be an E? He's incompetent to do his job.
Okay, see? So if he's saying he's not an E, and his pocket commission says he is an E, and he says he's not,
he's committing fraud.
And fraud. Okay, and fraud, there's no time limit on it.
Right. No statute of limitations. Right.
Okay, and I'm also, because 6001, 6011, and 6012 is their only legal right to ask me anything. I don't have to tell you to rob a bank. I don't have to tell you to go to the 7-Eleven and rob a bank. I want you to think about this question. You rob a bank with a .50 caliber, fully automatic Barrett sniper rifle. You cannot own those legally. I rob a bank with a hammer. Who goes to prison?
The guy with the gun, with the illegal gun.
No, sir. No, robbing the bank is illegal. Even the guy with the hammer. See?
True.
See?
True.
And, okay, that's what they're trying to do to us. I just know that. So it's not what they're doing. It's that I call them on it. Then if they tell me wrong, they lied to me, I got them now. I've got them. And see, we don't go in there fighting and slugging and swinging. We go in there with the idea, see, I believe it. Everything they say, I tell them, I believe you. But here's what Title 26 says. The last time I went into it with them, do you know what they told me? I can't use Title 26 anymore. It has no legal effect.
So does that mean everything within the UCC has no legal effect?
I'm trying to tell you what he said. Because they're frustrated. And the reason they're so frustrated, I told you we've done 16 of these. When they walk in, the longest one was their 42 seconds. They threw him out. So
God, it's funny.
Oh the guy was sweating bullets. He said when he went outside, he said he called me on the phone. And I couldn't even understand him. He was talking so fast. He's I couldn't believe it. And he has not heard another word from him. We're not. Wow. I'm not refusing. Okay, now watch. Here's the problem. Because I gave you some knowledge that I think will help you in the future. You owe me $500.
500 what?
See, I'm not going to tell you. But if you don't give it to me, I'll take your house, put your wife in jail, and beat your children up. See? That's how simple this is. I don't care what I owe. Be glad to pay it. What do I file? Well, you have to file a 1040. Not according to 6012A and the regulation. It tells me right there. See that orange bar? See that orange highlight I got? Yeah. Read it. When he reads it, well, that doesn't say no, it doesn't have my name there. But it defines who has to file. And I don't fall within that definition.
Makes total sense.
See? And then what I put in my package is, see, unless we tell you otherwise, they're defining. I'm going to put my glossary page in it for you to give you a little something extra.
Okay. Thank you, Kerry.
So now, does that make any sense to you?
Yes. It makes total sense.
See, in my opinion, we've been fighting this the wrong way all these years.
I agree.
We want to fight it to show them how smart we are.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be fighting, period.
No, we shouldn't be. Now, let me ask you a question. What state are you living in?
North Carolina.
Okay. Now, in North Carolina, do the men wear underwear?
Damn, I don't know what underwear is.
See how simple that was? See how simple that was? Now I have to define it because unless I tell you otherwise, well, what do you think it is? Well, I think it's commando. So no, I don't do it. See? Now once they ask me what I think it is, they're in for a treat because I'm going to tell them what I think it is. See how unless they tell you otherwise, all you have to do. See how simple that is? So that's on my glossary page. I got 4 pages or 5 pages of glossary words. They're not my words. They're words that they're going to use. And every time I go in and see them, they use one of these words. I've defined it under Black's Law Dictionary, under the statutes, under Title 26. I go and find it where they tell you what person has to file. So that's how I define it. See, I define everything that they have in their book the way they defined it, but it's in black and white. Well, we're not using that word. Okay, then what are we using? See, now they're always on the defense. Now let me ask you one more question. Go ahead. Sir. Do I what? No, go ahead.
Do you enter that into your case, your glossary?
Why wouldn't I?
Okay, I'm just asking.
See, and I put in there. Then I tell them in my thing. This is the words. Any of these words that are used in this communication, this is the definition. If you don't agree with the definition, draw a line through it, change it, and let me know. If you do not draw a line through it and change it, this is the definition. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you stopped poisoning your neighbor's dog?
My neighbor doesn't have a dog.
Which neighbor?
See, there you go. Which neighbor? Then I would say, well, the neighbor on the east. The neighbor on the east. See, now I have defined it down to the neighbor on the east. See, when you say my neighbor don't have a dog, so you're telling me there's not a neighbor in your neighborhood that doesn't have a dog. Well, maybe some.
No.
See, again, you answered it before you understood it. So have you stopped poisoning your neighbor's dog? I don't know. Which neighbor? The one on the east, next door east, or next door to me is a street. East of me is just a street. So I still don't understand. See, they're going to be clear. Okay, the house that's right next to you, when you look out your window, you see their house. Oh, that guy, he's allergic to dogs, so they don't have a dog. See, I'm going to make them define it to give me a position that I can argue it from the offensive position.
Hey, Carrie, have you stopped beating your wife?
I'm not married.
I've been married 3 times. Which wife?
See, do you see how that helps? Does that help you?
Oh yeah.
See, instead of saying, "Well, yeah, we wear them," or "No, we don't do that." I don't poison my neighbor's dog. So have you stopped poisoning it? Yes. Oh, so then you have. No, I haven't. Well, then why? See, are you lying then or are you lying now? See, we're always on defense.
Right.
And see, do you know what a red herring is?
No.
Okay, let me give you an example. Did you watch the football game, the Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl on TV here a couple months ago? Did you watch the Super Bowl?
No.
Do you know what the Super Bowl is?
I don't even know what a TV is, but I was trying to.
Okay. That's pretty good. See, but if you would have said, well, yeah, I watched the Super Bowl, then I would say, okay, why do they put a net behind the goal of a football game? See, the red herring was I'm trying to get you to think of the Super Bowl. And why did they put that net behind the goal? You're going to say, well, to keep the ball from going into the stands. Then my next question is, well, what do they call soccer? Well, they call that football. Oh, no, they put a net around football, soccer, so that you know when you score. See, in other words, the red herring gets your mind looking one way. See, then you answer the question exactly the way I want you to, unless I tell you otherwise. You can't win the argument.
Right.
That's why. Right. So I don't argue their argument. See.
Yes. Brilliant.
Do you have a job?
No.
Okay, then you just see what you just did. Now you're going to defend from a negative position. What's a job?
I have no clue.
Well, it doesn't matter. You said you didn't have one. You have to know because you said you didn't have one, unless I tell you otherwise. See the problem?
Yes. Got you.
See, and that's all I'm trying to do is show you how, if you have to argue, you're arguing from you're arguing from an offensive position.
So you got to act like a good little Jewish mother.
Do what now? Okay. What did you say about the mother?
Oh, I said you got to act like a good Jewish mother. Somebody asks a question, you come back with another question.
Well, that's fine too, sure. See? And so what I'm trying to teach you is, if you get in a position, now I'm going to ask you again, do you file a 1040?
What's a 1040?
Okay, it's an income tax return.
No, I do not file one.
Why?
Because it says that I can file a return or a statement, and in section 6001, 6011, and I forget the other one, but I will memorize it. It tells me that who's required to file one and who's not required to file one, and I'm not required.
And I have it highlighted, and I hand them the book. When I show up, I take a copy of it. I have it highlighted. No. Why? Well, on page 7 of your document, it says right there who has to. It's right there. That's why I'm not that guy.
Right.
See, now it's not about, well, we don't mean that. Oh, then why did you mail it? What do you mean? If you mail something that's not true, that's mail fraud. So, in other words, you brought me down here today for mail fraud. Now I'm talking to the IRS about mail fraud. See, it's always something else.
Right. Yeah, you got to be on top of your game. That's for sure.
Right, and that's what me and Ed are trying to do. So if you would email Ed and tell him what you want, and I'll get the package made up for you, and I'll make sure you get it.
Thank
you for looking that up for me. Yes.
Hey, Kerry, before y'all get off the phone and close down this conference, I'm gonna put in a shameless plug for you. Y'all, you got that great book. Plug away. You got that great book. I've got that book. I've read through it. It's a big help. I like it. Kerry has answered my phone at just about every time I've ever called him. And if he doesn't answer, he's always called me back. He's been selfish with his time and his fight, helping us and giving me confidence and propping me up when I've gotten scared crapless. Y'all think about buying this book and sending him a little something along with that. So what I'm saying is, you think what a thieving tax attorney would charge you, take 10% of that, send it into this man or something.
I agree.
We're in some hard times right now, and I'm blessed with plenty of work, but with the work that he does, prostituting himself out on the corners, well, he can't get out there and prostitute like he can. So y'all think about it. Y'all give this man a hand. I have. And when I say that, I have. And I'm proud of it. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you from all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.
Okay. If there's no more questions, then we're pretty much got our time up.
Does the lady have one more question?
Go right ahead and ask it. Go ahead and ask it. Who is it, Ed? Do you know?
No, she's not talking now. I can't tell which one it is.
Kerry?
Yes, sir.
On 6012A, when they come up with all their different codes on why you owe taxes on there, they'll have you down for alcohol and tobacco and firearms, for drugs and whatever. Would that have any effect on that or not?
Ain't that something? Well, no, it does. If you're selling alcohol, drugs, and guns and bullets, it has a lot to do with it.
Well, like when I was in court, the codes, like one of them was for black lung disease, one of them was for tax on oleomargarine. Margarine.
Now,
stuff like that.
What that does, that's right. What this is doing, now you have it in their writing, what they said in their, and once you get it, highlight it. Now you've got it where you can zip through and see it. I put that together, and when I show up, every time I show up, I have it with me. Like I said, I've done helped 16 guys go in court or in front of the IRS, and we're only there just a few seconds, and we get rid of them. They get rid of us, I should say. So,
thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for that.
Okay, folks, our next call will be April the 14th. There's 5 Tuesdays in this month, so we're going to have an extra week. So we'll see you. We thank you for calling in tonight.
We do. Thank you.
Learned everything.
Well, I hope you just learned anything.
Thank you, guys.
While you're hibernating in the quarantine section, study some of Kerry's works. Get that book.